Okay, and a 5, 4, 5, 4, 3. No, let's do a different count. And a 1, and a 2, and a 1, 2, 1, 2. It's that show that you know and love. It's that show that you know and love. It's that show that you know and love. It's story time with Jay. Hello, what's up? How are you guys doing? It is Jay London. I am piecing in. How are you guys? I feel like I haven't spoke to you guys since, what, Friday? Friday. I'm trash. I know. Make sure you guys check that video out, how I almost died. But if you guys are new to the London family, hi, I'm Jay London. I'm 23 years old. I'm crazy. I'm a little awkward at times. But I always do crazy stuff and have different kind of random videos. So join the London family. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the Taco Bell thingy. That just lets you know every time I post a video. Make sure you grab your cup of coffee, you grab your tea, you grab a shot of vodka, whatever you want. There's no judgment. It's your business. It's not my business. I don't care. Actually, I do care. If you're young, don't. Just saying. But got my notes right here, y'all. Today's story time, I'm actually excited for, really excited. You guys know I'm a weirdo. You guys know I'm pretty awkward. And I like weird shit that people don't like, if that makes sense. I like seeing gore, I like seeing blood, I like seeing murder shows, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I was talking last night with my good friend Nicole Bella. Shout out to you. How are you? Hope you're doing good. But we were talking last night all type of different theories of heaven and hell. We were talking about what happens to your soul after you die. We were talking about different paranormal events, stuff like that. And she was like, that's crazy, I would die, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, you know what? Let me share 3 of them with you guys. And if you guys like it, make sure. You guys are really good at liking stuff. And quick segue. Thank you for the success of my story time, how I got fired from Olive Gardens. Make sure you guys check that out. But I think I kind of get y'all. If you guys like a video a lot, I realize you guys want more of that, more story times kind of. So keep doing what you're doing. You know, maybe I'm reading it wrong. Whatever. Where I'm living now, my apartment, it starts with the same name as where I used to live. So right now, these apartments that I'm living at, they're called Cumberland. That's all I'm gonna say. They're called Cumberland. But where all these paranormal things started happening, it was called Cumberland Gardens as well. So if you can see behind me, I can't really put pictures or stuff for some reason, but if you guys see behind me, we're gonna be talking about Allentown and where I grew up. Allentown has a lot of rich history of hauntings and different Civil War stuff and all this craziness. If you guys really want to do some good research Allentown. We just got from New York to Allentown, PA, right? And we got to this low-income housing. It's called Cumberland Gardens, and it was part of the housing authority, so on and so forth. Now, when they first started making these apartments back in 1960s, the layout was just so weird. And first of all of these houses, you can see behind me, they're all pushed together. So it's almost just like the projects, you know what I'm saying? If you were raised in the projects in New York, whatever it is, you know that the houses are just so close together. That's why there's so many roaches and rats and blasey that be passing through your house. If you really think about it, roaches and rats got the best life. They could literally just walk into any apartment they want. They're like, this is my apartment now. I'm kind of jealous now that I think about it. Now, the tricky part about this is that when they first did the layout for Cumberland Gardens, they did it on top of a cemetery. Oh shit. But this cemetery in Cumberland, towards the Susquehanna area, there used to be a cemetery up there. And there's still a cemetery because they built a school too on another cemetery. And if you guys know Allentown, that school is called the Roosevelt. So Roosevelt Elementary, I went there too, but that school was built on top of the cemetery as well. So Allentown really got no respect for the dead, honestly. They're like, you know what? This is land, nobody bought it. Let's build upon this shit. Let's make some money, basically. So they said F you to the cemetery, and in 1962, they started building Cumberland Gardens. Then it turned into a low-income housing, so a lot of people started coming in, and that's where me and my grandma came in. My grandma's a weirdo, I love you. But my grandma, they're a little weird. They're a little weird. They do they into creepy shit. Not my business to tell, but they like to do baths and so on and so forth and blah blah blah. I'm not trying to get in trouble right now. You know, I don't want my auntie, my grandma to be stop thinking my business. But yeah, so they're into creepy shit. Cool. So we were always exposed to like weird stuff, you know what I mean? Like it was just normal to us, and like all the stories we would hear from our family members, like it was like nothing. But finally I'm at the age of like 7, you know, I'm a crazy kid. Well, the lights would flicker on and off all the time, but mind you, the only people that lived in this house was me and my grandma. Like that is it. The lights would flicker on and off. You would hear voices, especially after 8 o'clock at night. You would hear voices throughout the vents. Now, don't get me wrong, like I said earlier, it's just like the projects. A lot of the places are together, you know what I mean? But the walls, there were pretty thick walls. Like you could go like that and you wouldn't hear it on the other side. So it couldn't be the neighbors, you know what I mean? And like the whispering was so loud. Like people were trying to like reach out to you. It was so creepy. You would see people walk up the stairs. Oh, I have goosebumps. Oh, I have goosies just talking about it. Oh my God. But you would see people walk up the stairs like the shadow, but then you're like looking and you're like, oh my God, like where's the person? You know, the person would never come up. And I remember one time like the lights were flicking really bad and somebody was calling my name. And I remember my grandma I was like, what, Wella? And she was literally in her room next door. And I was like, oh my God, Wella, like, what are you doing? She was like, just ignore it, just ignore it, just ignore it. And I was like, no, like, the lights are flickering on and off. So after that situation, I did not stop sleeping with my grandma, like, in her bed until I was 12 years old. I know, I'm a little bitch. And that was, like, the first incident that really, like, shook me. Like I was shooketh. Like the definition of shooketh was Little J back then at 7 years old, hearing his voice. Oh my God, like literally it was so clear. He would be like, Jesus. And I would be like, Wella, why are you calling me? And she was like, no, I didn't call you. Like, but she was just like, she was super chill. Like she's the chillest, spiritualist woman you will ever meet. Like ain't nothing faze her. Okay, nothing phases her. I can tell you so many crazy stories that she's told me, but nothing really phases her, and like she really knows how to handle shit like that. We probably lived there for about a year. We moved a lot for some reason, but a whole bunch of crazy shit would always happen in Cumberland Gardens. My cousins would sleep over, and they would hear stuff and see crazy stuff. Oh my God, like that place was really haunted. It's funny because they just did a renovation. Probably like a year ago to Cumberland Gardens because like I said before, when they first built these houses in 1960s, they kept the same layout. Like they never renovated, not a door, not a window, not the stairs. That should put in perspective how old these apartments and how much history are in these apartments. Like it's crazy. And yeah, basically they said F it and we're gonna build apartments on it. So that is why Cumberland Gardens is like the #1 apartment complex that's haunted in Allentown. If you guys live there or have lived there, please let me know in the comments below so I know I'm not crazy. The second story that I want to tell you guys about, it's about this little house that I lived with my grandma in an alleyway, right? And this alley, like this address is called 407 Ref Wall. And I will never forget that. I don't know why, I have a great memory, I don't forget shit. But 407 Ref Wall. In order for me to get my mail, the number is 407. Like, what the fudge? First of all, like I live in Cumberland already. It's like a full circle. Like, ain't that creepy, y'all? Or am I just stupid? Probably a little stupid, but it's fine. Like, I just think that's so crazy. So we used to live in this alleyway, and mind you, all of these houses were like low income houses. So like the housing would give it to us, or like this house was in a corner in an alleyway, like a deep alleyway. And I remember this house was built, like a lot of the houses in Allentown, they're very thin, but they have a lot of floors. But the weird thing about this apartment is that it had 4 floors. So you had the basement, but you look at it and it looks small, but it goes up. So you have your basement, right? You have your first floor with your kitchen, your sala, your living room, blah, blah, blah. You have your 3rd floor, which is like the room, the bathroom. But then, you know how a lot of houses have attics and you have to pull the door down to get into the attic? Well, for some reason, when they did this house, I don't know if like people who moved in decided to like, let's mold it out or whatever, but The door for the attic was already pulled down and built into the floor. So there's no way for you to close it. There's no, like, it's basically another part of the house, if that makes sense. That makes sense, y'all? Basically had a whole other 4th floor. It was super creepy. That 4th floor was super, super, super creepy. So it was just only me and my grandma always growing up. So she always made sure we had our space, if that makes sense. Like, you would have one side of the house and I would have the other. And it was just like our space, normal. So she thought it would be a smart idea for me to take the 4th floor, the attic, completely. That's mine. Cool. So we start moving stuff up there and we notice that there's another door behind, like, I don't know if you guys are with me. We're in the attic, okay. So in the attic, in the 4th floor, there's another room. And like the door was like super wood, it was like wood, and it was just like, you really had to like, to open it. And you open it and it's like this little nook, almost. Weird, right? Weird. Anyways, so mind you, it's been like a couple months, we're living in this house, is like, we're not feeling anything yet, but then every time you would go up to this attic, it was super cold. So I don't know if you're still with me, like, remember, I wasn't sleeping in my bed or I wasn't sleeping in my room, but since I had my own floor, I was like, let me try sleeping in it again. I don't remember when my grandma decided to take that little nook and put a bed in there, but I remember her putting a bed in there and sleeping up there with me one day. And she said, and we both remember, like, we looked in the corner going up to the stairs. So in order to get to that 4th floor, you have to go up the stairs to the attic. We look and there's a man there. Oh, I have goosebumps. Mind you, this man was always there every single night watching us. And he had a hood on. He was of dark complexion and he had a hood on, and you could see him clear as day, like he was not hiding himself. And he would sit right at the end of the staircase at the top. So for example, let's say this is the stairs and I'm standing like this. If you look like that, you can see my bed and you can see me and then you can see my grandma. So he would always stand like this. And he always had mucus coming down his nose, like boogers dripping down his nose, like as if he was sick. And he was always like sniffling, but he was always watching us. And I remember, like, you can literally walk down the stairs and he will not move. He would be there. And I remember my grandma being like, you know what? He's not a bad guy. Why am I still sitting like this? But I remember my grandma saying, she was like, yeah, he's not a bad guy. He's not a bad spirit. He's just protecting us. He's watching us. And he would always like just watch us, and we would always see different shadows and we would hear different things. But we knew we were okay, if that makes sense, because of that spirit watching us. And we would never forget that guy. My grandma was always like, uy, sí, él siempre tenía los mocos en la cara. Y siempre estaba velándonos y tenía como cosas saliendo de la cara y todo eso. And I'm like, that is crazy, because we both saw it, we both witnessed it. It was there every single night. And I want to say we didn't last long in that house because it was really creepy. It was very, very creepy. We only lasted there a year, as per usual, and we moved again. I don't even know how housing could stand us, to be honest. We moved so much. Like, you could feel the vibes just from the outside. So 407 Raffle, I don't know if that's legal. I don't know if it's legal for me to be like, yeah, Google it, fuck it. But yeah, 407 Raffle, it's like, you're gonna see it, it's in the corner of the alley, and it's like a super high house. Okay, and then the last house I'm gonna tell you, this house wasn't really as creepy as it was like more spiritual. My grandma, as all Hispanic grandmothers, have a whole bunch of like Santeria, like figurines, El Niño Antorcha, San Miguel, La Guadalupe. Like, it was more of a peaceful house. Like, the vibes in there were pretty peaceful. One day, and this, my cousin could attest to this, hey Chewy, but one day, a lot of like the family members would always visit us and just come over, or they would just live with us. My grandma was like sitting on the couch, and I was sitting on the other side of the couch. No, we were watching Primer Impacto, because it was 5 o'clock, and I would never forget, and we just got done with El Gordo y la Flaca from 4 o'clock. So we were sitting there, we were in our Primer Impacto, because that's what we do every freaking day. And out of nowhere, we hear a knock, right, on the door. And I'm like, okay, I'll open it. I open the door, and it's my cousin Chewy, but as I open the door, a man literally ran up the stairs. Like, and all you hear is boom, 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 each step. each step, and it was like so quick, like Sonic motherfucking came through the fucking door and ran up the stairs. And my cousin is shook because he's standing right there. So imagine this, like imagine you open the door and all you see is like this black figure basically come out of you and run up the stairs. That is some creepy shit. My grandma got up and my grandma was like, "Whoa! Did you say that? Did you see that?" My cousin, me and my cousin decided to run up the stairs because we thought like somebody just ran in. Like we literally thought, we knew it, like we knew what we just saw, but we just, you know, in your mind, you just try to have another like notion. So we were like, oh my God, a robber just ran in the house. So we run up the stairs and we make a right because we see like going to my grandma's room. Bitch, there was nothing there. There was nothing there, and we heard the footsteps, we saw it, we all fucking saw it with our eyes, but there was nothing there. Listen, I know I cursed a lot in this video. I try not to curse a lot in my videos, but I am scared. I don't care. I don't care. Oh my God, there was nothing there. Nothing there. And I can't believe it. If you guys want more ghost stories like this, I got a lot. My family's into crazy shit, if you know what I'm saying, Jamin. We ain't Satanists. Like, or like weird, you know what I'm saying? Like, but they've done like they do some crazy shit, like, you know, every Hispanic does. But I'm just like, I wanted to do this video because, you know, growing up in Allentown, we would always hear and see different crazy stories, or we would just like, there's a lot of abandoned buildings, which I'm gonna like be putting as the green screen image in the background, but there's a lot of abandoned buildings. We're right next to Bethlehem. And you guys know Hotel Bethlehem. If you guys want a story time on that, make sure you guys give me a like, comment down below. Hotel Bethlehem is one of the haunted places on earth, practically. Like, Google that shit, okay? Hotel Bethlehem, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. We also live right next to the Bethlehem Steel Center. So that used to be, back in the day, a 1.4 billion company where you would just get steel. They also shot Transformers there, which has nothing to do with what I'm telling you, but like I think that's pretty fucking cool. James Bay was like in Bethlehem, so that's dope. There's a lot of haunted history in Allentown, so if you guys want me to dive in that, let me know. I probably will, because like I told you before, I like crazy, weird, paranormal stuff. I have millions more. I can't speak today. I got a lot more stories on paranormal shit, and I can tell you, like, my grandma's always like, you should share my story, and you should do this, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, word, I will. Hopefully you guys did like this video. I feel like you guys are liking some story time, but y'all are picky. Y'all are very picky. First of all, make sure you guys subscribe, because I see my analytics. I know how the game works. About 86% of you guys aren't subscribed, so make sure you guys hit the subscriber count, because you guys are pretty vocal, okay? You guys don't like one video, but you might like the next one. Join the family. Just join. Stop playing these games. Don't stop. I see you. I'm gonna give you. You know what? Here's 5 minutes. Go subscribe. I kind of want to do my next story time on more scary paranormal stories, but I'm just gonna have to upload this and see how it does. And if you guys like it, you guys like it. You already know. Join the London fam. But if you guys see anyone going through a rough day, make sure you give them a high five or just fist pump them, because I've been telling people, give them a hug. Don't hug nobody. Tell them everything's gonna be okay. They're gonna get through it. Everything's gonna be okay. It's fine. Laugh a little, relax, chill out, okay? But till next time, I'm peacing out. Bye. Oh, and make sure to tell me your paranormal stories, please, down in the comments. And if you want to send me some paranormal stories so I can read them, oh my God, you don't even know. I'll be ovulating. Like, if you were to do that. You guys already know where the email is at. Handle y'all business, London family. Y'all are smart, so you guys got this. All right. Bye.